And we are on the air.
We have made it.
Everyone. It's Friday afternoon, not Friday morning. As normal, we're shooting it in the afternoon because Jeff's son jetted off to parts unknown.
And we can't disclose it for legal and national interest scenarios.
National security issues.
Yeah. Or just put it this way. Let's just hope that he gets through the border, whatever that means. Let's hope that he's not coming home in about 3 hours.
Yeah, he's not coming back real fast.
No.
Turn him around. Oh,
no.
I'm sorry. You're not
Man, it is great to be here, Brent. It is Risk Raiders. We've got a new episode. We've got a new year. God, we got so many great things to do. We're glad that you've joined in on listening today. As you know, that Brent and I are just two poor little insurance agency owners who have just come together to squeeze every little bit of knowledge that we have, not just about insurance, but about risk management, family stuff. We're not here to teach you insurance. We're here to teach you how to protect your family and your business. This is not professional advice. You need to go somebody else who's much better than we are for that stuff on this show. This is to give you some little nuggets. So when you do talk to those professionals, you're smarter, you're better, saves you some money, protects your family. So call your own insurance agent, your own attorney, your own accountant, your own plumber. I don't care who you call, but don't call us because we're not that professional. How was that one? I kind of like that one.
I liked it. It was good.
Cleaned it up.
Yeah.
Could have been dirtier.
I think you're supposed to say those really fast, though, or they can't understand what you're saying.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, Brent, now that you bring that up, I'm going to have to practice that. This is an inaugural day. Everybody stick in on this show because we have our very first sponsor.
That's right.
Yes, we do. And I'm not telling you who it is now. These people have stuck out there and they said, we're going to be number one with Risk Raiders, and they are. So I'm just telling you, I mean, we're blessed beyond belief to have these folks join us. So it's inaugurals for sponsorships. You want to sponsor, you need to sit there and email Brent on our YouTube page because I'm telling you what, they're lining up after this. It's crazy what's going on. So I don't know.
It's crazy out there.
It's crazy out there. What are we going to talk about today, Brent? What are we going to do?
Today, we're going to talk about what is an agent.
And I cannot wait to find out what this is.
Yeah. Different kinds of agents that are out there, and then beyond what legally set up kind of agents there are. But then we're going to talk about what inside those groups, what kind of agent do you have? You know, what sort of personality is your particular agent, man or woman, whoever it is? You know, what kind of personality do they have? Because they're all different. You know, we're all different, and some better than others. Some, you know, I feel like you end up with the agent you deserve.
Here, let me bookmark that. That will be our newest short. You will end up with the agent you deserve. So it's actually your own damn fault. You know, you do write the check. It is true, though. You do write the check. I love that line. You get what you deserve. God,
Yeah.
I may put that on my business card.
Yeah.
Love that.
Well, yeah. So basically, we're just going to go through. Let's just jump right into it. So, you know, unless you've got, do you have a story? I feel like we have to start with a story. Did something happen on the way to the airport that was interesting or anything?
You know, here's the whole thing. It's a little bit of therapy. There's always a little therapy on all this on the airport drive. And I don't know really if it's for the kid or for me. You know, it's like, you know, we're going, you know, here's the thing. This is what guys got to remember. Young people going on trips, you got to remember, I'm speaking to the men out there. You guys set the tone of anytime you go on these school trips, you go anywhere, there's going to be young ladies around. You walk in, you're the man, you're the protector, you're the person. And, you know, these guys got to remember that. They're not students. I was like, son, look, when you walk in there, you're the protector. You're unloading bags. You're taking care of people. These are your babies right here, and you're supposed to take care of. Man, by the time we got out of the plane, I thought he was like going to give birth to all of them. He was like, had them around there, flocking them, getting them ready. And I'm like, there we go. And then I had therapy on the way back. Yeah. I mean, my wife always gives me therapy, so there was always something I needed to work on. So we were probably a podcast away, but instead we went and got a beverage. I'm a podcast away from getting fixed. I promise everybody.
I don't know about that.
Okay, so when we're talking about these insurance agents, you know, there's some of them like us, and then there's some that work differently. Why don't you tell us a little bit about, you know, what type of agents, kind of the setup they might be working in that some of our customers or people out there are working with right now. And again, there's various kinds, not good or bad. How would you break it
there's
up?
just different kinds, and I think that I laugh a lot of times because a lot of people don't understand really what we are. Because I have a lot of people say, "Oh, he works for an insurance company." I'm like,
Right.
no. And we almost take that as an insult, right? We're like, it's insulting. I don't work for an insurance company. I'm mad at those guys most of the time.
We love our insurance people out there. Thank you very much for listening, and please like and share. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
offense. But
Yeah, like they want to be called agents.
yeah, but we are agents. We're not company people. We don't work for an insurance company. We work for an insurance agency, which is a middleman, if you will, a representative that helps you interface with the insurance company. And there's different kinds. Like we're quote unquote independent agents, which means that we can theoretically contract with whoever we want to contract to write your business. We can have 100 companies or 5 or 2 or 500, whatever. And then there's what we call, and this is not a slam, but there's captive agents that are guys like a State Farm or an Allstate, or those guys tend to write most of their business with that carrier, and that's when we refer to them as captives. And they're free to go get other markets too, like they can use MGAs and stuff like that, but most of their business is written through their kind of parent agent or parent company, like a State Farm or Allstate or State Farm, something like that.
Right.
That's their captive company, and that's who they generally speaking write for. And it's not good or bad. I'm not making a value judgment that we're better or they're better.
No, and actually there's a real need for both in the marketplace. It's good that we have two different kinds for various reasons.
They're just different channels of distribution, In fact, there's blurring that a little bit because some of those traditional insurance companies that traditionally use captive agents are now going out and contracting independent agents like us. And so it's kind of it's not as clean as it used to be, but that's kind of the big differences is that there's independent agents like us, and then there's what we call captives or direct writers, captives. And then there's some companies that actually go direct to the consumer. That has not worked as well as they had hoped or wished because insurance is just complicated enough that generally speaking, you're going to need some help with it.
Yeah. Are we talking about the online stuff? Is that kind of what you're thinking?
People going directly and carriers wanting to go directly to the end user or the client. And it's just, and if you have I don't know, if you just have one car and you live in an apartment or something, you can probably go direct and get that done. I shouldn't say that, but you probably can. But once you get past that level, when you have, multiple cars, your kids start driving, or you have a lake house and your primary house and you've got a business, and then it starts getting messy, and you got to have somebody help you pull all those strings together.
And that's also why we've done Risk Raiders. Because if you're doing that, you watch these episodes, we're giving you some tools to where if you elect to even go that route, which Brent said some people do, some people don't, you keep listening to this show, we're going to give you the things to ask those people online or those questions that you're going to have to answer. Right. You're going to know more about it, so stick around.
And definitely. And so, and then there's I always like to say, even amongst us, among independent agents, there's a bit of a distinction. I think some of us, like me personally, and this is something my dad always hammered home on me, is that I personally feel like I represent the customer more than I do the insurance company. Even though legally we kind of are in the middle, I always feel like my first duty is to the client, and the company is second. Some agents that I've known, I've always felt like they were almost more on the company's side, like they were kind of looking out for the company maybe more than the client. I always thought that was odd, but I think it's just a personality thing. Some people are lean more that way and are like, no, we have to, Anyway, there's a bit of a distinction in that, how you look at the world, but I think most independent agents are client first, client driven.
Well, you think that way. I mean, because we have our contracts are with our carriers, but if we didn't have the customers to serve, we wouldn't have a business. So we have an obligation to both sides to make sure that we do our jobs properly, to where we take care of the customer and then we satisfy the requirements of the companies that are going to back that policy. So it all works together. It just gets sometimes a little interesting.
Yeah,
Those moments.
I've always felt like our job is to protect the client because carriers are knowledgeable about insurance. They know what's in the forms. They know what the exclusions are. And I feel like our job to make sure the client doesn't get tripped up, or not tricked isn't the right word, but doesn't get something that's not right for them, or they're not getting properly covered, or in a claim scenario, they're not getting proper treatment in a claim. We have to intervene in claims at times too, because it goes off the rails,
right?
Whatever, and we have to get involved. It doesn't happen that often, but it does some.
It's occasional. So it kind of brings us to that point of, okay, so you have all these different kind of models and structures that different agents have that kind of try to pursue that same goal of getting you the best products that, that fit your family, that you actually decide on, because you'll always decide on what you're going to buy, and you're always going to decide on who you're going to buy it from. But then it comes down to, it doesn't really matter that. There's this kind of breakdown of really what type of agent should you be working with, or maybe what kind of agent do you have? And I kind of broke this down, Brent, to tell you what
it gets interesting.
Here's where it gets interesting, because you're going to see these options in every one of those models that Brent so diligently put before you. We're going to talk about first the superhero agent. All right, we're going to have that guy. Then we're going to have Slick Rick, kind of that used car salesman agent. And again, y'all are going to hear this, but you're not going to have to just think of insurance. This could be the same thing as you could be buying tires. You could be buying anything. And this same personality fits on top of all these folks, especially anybody who's a middleman. This is usually a middleman. And then the last one, I like this one, the Dr. Feels Safe. Dr. Feels Safe. And you could call it Dr. Phil Safe, because there's these personalities. And so when I was kind of putting this together, I was thinking, all right, man, how would we describe it, Brent? What would be the super agent? If we're asking a customer out there, hey, try to describe of your agent, of those three things, what are going to be the qualities you're going to say this is a super agent? What do they do?
Well, I would like to, a lot of my clients are probably laughing. I try to put myself in that category. And what I think that is somebody that's willing to bend over backwards and do whatever is necessary to make sure that you get the right service and that your claims are handled correctly and that you get the best price and coverage relative to what you can afford and what is a good fit for your business or your home. And I will say this too, and I shouldn't say this probably, but I feel like if you don't have your agent's cell phone number, he's not a superhero agent. Because you should be able to call that person, that man or woman that's your agent. You should be able to call them anytime. And I know my clients don't call me a lot on the weekends, but they do sometimes if they're having a problem or something's going on, or they've bought a car, or they've had an accident, or their kids had an accident and they don't know what to do. And I want them to call me. I don't care. I mean, I should, like a lot of agents be like, oh, don't ever give them your cell phone. I don't feel that way. I feel like I'm here for those people when they need me. I'm not going to bug them. I don't go sit in their lap all the time and go, hey, let's talk about your policy.
That's a whole nother claim. We can't have you doing that anyway. That's not good for anybody.
Yeah, don't sit in the client's lap.
If Brent is sitting in your lap, we need to have a talk. And I need to know immediately.
Yeah, immediately call someone.
Christmas is over. Take off the Santa suit. Don't sit in Brent's lap anymore. Yeah, that's right. So really kind of a big thing that I'm thinking about. The best super agents people I know, they're easy to communicate with. I mean, they want to talk to you. They're available. They'll talk to you. And even if they can't personally talk to you all the time, their staffs are trained that way. Like the whole environment is, you're not going to have to go through a million different phone calls, voicemails, messages to get somebody to turn your face. It's amazing in the world today that if you just actually answer your phone, people fall out of their chair. They're shocked. And I am too, just on the other side. If I call somebody and I don't get, hello, would you like to leave a no? If I got a person, I'm going to have a heart attack. Let's see here. I had another thing here. I was like, okay, the super agent, they're going to people, I like this one because I know you do this a lot. There are people who sit down with you and ask you kind of what if scenarios.
Yeah.
They're going to ask you, what if this happens, customer? What do you want to see happen? How would you like that taken care of? If this happened, what is your concerns? They start talking to you in a way to where they're not just saying, I'm an insurance genius. They're going to say, how in the world can I put all this stuff over here into a package for you that you want, that you need? What if questions are big for the super agent.
And just trying to come up with what are the most dangerous, not right, what are the things that could happen to your business or your home that could really put you out of business?
Yeah, kind of the worst case scenarios.
Yeah,
walk us through it. What's going to happen?
Yeah, and those are the things you need to protect against. You know, the minor claims or, oh, I had a guy ran over my sign out in front of my business. It's not a big deal. I mean, that's not going to put you out of business. But if you get sued, and you don't have the right coverage, then you could be in trouble. And
I mean, you got to have,
that's what you don't want to have.
You got to have communication, what we just talked about. Then you got to have the conversation. These guys, these super agents, they want to talk with you. And they're not afraid of what the answer that you're going to ask the question. They're not afraid of what they're going to have to tell you, because they'll shoot you straight. They'll tell you it's good, bad, you're covered, not covered. These are not people who are going to hide because the sale part of it's over with. There are people who really do, kind of like what Brent decided. And I think you are a super agent because you do give a crap about what happens to your customers. And I like to think we're the same way here. It's not just walk off and go, wow, look at what we sold. In other words, you want to go to bed at night. If you're a super agent, I kind of wrote this down. I want to go to bed tonight knowing that if the storm comes tomorrow, it's going to be messy, but my clients are going to be taken care of.
Right.
We're going to get through it.
In place.
Yeah, we're going to get through it, and it's going to be hard, but it's not going to be hard just because a disaster is a disaster. But I know that they're going to be able to build it back. I know they're going to be able to get back into business. I know that that's what they wanted, and that's what we provided. I mean, the super agent gives a crap about that.
Right.
And if it doesn't keep them up at night, that's not a super agent. You know, that's just
a salesperson.
That's just a salesperson. So, that's the things that I think that are really, really important. And I wrote down this thing that I put in there. I pulled this up out of the exploring AI, but I had this question, and I love what somebody said. It said, if your agent has never suggested a coverage change as your life has changed, if they never even brought anything up ever, then you don't have a superhero agent.
Right.
Because your business isn't the same. Your business, your family, everything changes. If you've been with somebody for 10 or 15 years and there hasn't been a question about not sales, but a question about what you need or a discussion about that, I tell you, you don't have a super agent.
Right. And some of that's gone out the window in a few years because of last few years because the prices have been so high.
I know.
That's really wrecked, like we talk about all the time, how that's wrecked our ability to talk about risk management with clients because the price is such a elephant in the room and everything's gotten so darn expensive.
It has. But also yesterday on watching one of the morning shows, they reminded me that 2025, the United States had $26 billion in storm damage. And Texas was number 3 ranked of the states.
Yeah.
And so, those premiums have gone up, but I'm going to tell you what, 2025, record-setting dollars of damage and loss of life, which is ultimately what we're the most concerned about.
Yeah, that's the thing you really got to guard against. You got to make sure everybody's safe. But you're right, the losses have been real. I mean, I just can't emphasize that enough. That, premiums are high, but the losses have been real.
It is.
And there's just, until that slows down, premiums are not going to go down a lot.
But that's where you need to have an agent, though, one of these super agents who, honest to God, will maneuver through the marketplace that it is, and at the same time trying to protect you the best that y'all decide you need to be covered. It kind of moves us now into that. No, and that puts you into that this next level, the kind of the Slick Rick agent that's out there. And there's a Slick Rick in every industry. And the Slick Ricks are those that they're really focused on themselves.
And closing.
Yeah, they want to sell you something all the time. They want to sell you something. There's a deal, and it's always price driven. And again, Brent just covered price, very important. But I'm going to tell you, in our industry, probably like a tire. I don't know why I'm stuck on tires. I'm not buying tires. But you can think about it. When you walk into a tire store there is a big significant difference in prices between tires.
Oh my God.
And why is that? Because some are going to perform better when crap comes down. Some are going to perform
when the weather
better.
gets bad.
Yeah, and some are going to last longer.
Yeah.
So therefore,
Yeah,
those
some
are
are
going
in
to
it for the long run.
that they're in it for the long run, and some are going to, you don't want to. Where do you want to be with your family in the middle of a bad part of town in a thunderstorm? Do you want to be in the bad part of town with $20 tires that might, I don't know, that you blew them up before you left, or do you want to be out there, with hard rock stone tires that you can run over bodies and things with it? Man, we're getting out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Unless you go in there and you say, "Hey, look, I'm about to sell this car. I need that set of tires."
But those are the people when they're selling their business, they're like, I just need liability. Like for a day.
More weeks.
And that makes us all have a red flag too. But there's Slick Rick in the insurance industry. And that doesn't mean that those people don't know insurance. It doesn't. It doesn't mean that they don't pay any attention to learning their product. But the focus typically is on their own well-being above that over their client. That's at least what I think of. It's my personal opinion, but that's what I think it is of any industry. And I know everybody has to eat.
I think you got to remember too that a lot of these larger, I'm going to call them sales-driven, bigger agencies that are multi-city, multi-state, they put a lot of pressure on their people to close X numbers. Of, you got to sell this many or you're not going to be here, right? And there's that element, and those people are trying to keep their job, and I get that. I get it. They're trying to keep their job, and so they've got to sell, X number of policies a month, and we get into some of that pressure too. Where our carriers are like, "Hey, man, y'all got to sell more business, blah blah blah," and we generally ignore them, but you do have to keep certain volumes.
Yeah, I mean the middleman is
pressure on them.
The middleman faces a squeeze from both sides, and that's why we chose to go into this business. But but they told me that I like this one too. I like this one too. That if you have the Slick Rick, I'm not telling you to get rid of Slick Rick. We can't tell you what to do. It's your choice.
You might like Slick Rick.
You might like Slick Rick. You might be married to Slick Rick. I don't know. I don't care. But I will tell you when it comes to your stuff, sometimes as a customer, I would just suggest this, that you might try to wrangle that person in a little bit and get them to sit down with you and say, "Hey, I know you want me to buy all that, but let's go through this. Let's go through the scenario. Let's go through those." You may have to manage taking care of yourself a little bit more, but if you like the person you're working with, great. But you got to get it. And I would only tell you the red flag would be is if you could never get that conversation, if you could never have that sit down, if you could never get your questions answered, then you might have an issue. But when you're dealing with the Slick Ricks out there and all that, you need to make sure that the coverage that you're getting matches with the prices, at least you understand they do. And that's just kind of how you have to kind of deal with those people within the industry. Right. But, I've never gotten along very well with that side of the world. Very well. I'm much more like you. I'm a little bit more studious of things. I like to go through and handhold a little bit. And I go too far the other way. But it's just important to us that everybody understands as much as we can possibly describe it to people, that they understand what they might need and what they should buy.
Well, the kind of books of business that agents like us have are completely different. We're all about retaining our clients. And so 95% of our clients stay with us every year. We're not, but some agents, they don't, that's just not their model. They try to sell a lot of new business, and so they lose half their business every year.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's the way they do it. Maybe that works for them. They're very price oriented. That's good. I mean, some people want that. We've had a lot of especially our commercial clients, a lot of them we've had 20 plus years. We're second and third generation, like my dad, and wrote them, and now I'm handling them. My son, who knows? It's a generational thing, and it's on their side too. The client, we're dealing with the kids of the people who started the business, and so some of these client relationships are very old, and that's a different thing altogether. Yeah, we know everything about their business. We know what they used to sell, or maybe they were a different kind of business back in the day, and they've evolved, and we've evolved their coverage with them. And so those are the kinds of relationships that agents like you and I have, and that's just a different way of doing it.
It is. So, and I think for our listeners, you need to make sure you're matched up with the professional that you like. There's not a good, a bad, or indifferent, but when you're coming from things that the way the Risk Raiders come at it, well, you want to make sure that you're buying what you're buying, that you know what you're buying, that you need. It's for your family. It's not for mine. I may do that, but you need to have and make sure that there's choices. And if you're having trouble in one of those areas, there's a lot of good super salesmen out there, super agents. There's a ton of them. There's a ton of slick Ricks. But I mean, again, if you like to deal in that, but make sure you're getting your business taken care of. Insurance is too damn expensive to not know what you're buying.
But you should definitely find somebody you're comfortable with, and that's
I do
going to be
too.
different
Yeah.
for everyone. Some people might think that we're too, we don't move fast enough, or we don't, because
I get it.
more thoughtful about it maybe and that may not be the thing for you. You may need somebody that's I'm going to get you a price in 3 minutes.
That's right. They're out there.
Like they're out there, and if that's what you want, find what you're comfortable with.
Yeah, get out there, find an agent that fits your needs, but make sure you're taking care of your business. That's it. You've got to take care of your business.
Somebody there's looking at the coverage. I mean, because it's not price. I know that price is important because the prices are so high, but man, you've got to make sure you're not buying something that's too thin on the back for when you run into jam.
Speaking of too thin,
yeah,
you just led into that. Do you have anything else on agents? Because I got to get to our sponsor.
Oh, are we? Oh man, look at the clock.
I got the time. We're going, but now that we have a sponsor, I mean, we got to get this in because these people, they want us to do something for the money they gave us. And I just got the copy in right before the show. Haven't really read through this very much.
But hold on a second. Are we going to talk about tech before or after the
No, we're going to talk about tech after because the sponsor wants to be tied to the show, Brent. He wants to be tied to what we were talking about. You see what I'm saying? We've not even had a sponsor. So he explained this to me. I was sitting there talking to Freddie, and Freddie was like, this is what you're going to do. And I'm like, damn, Freddie. And I'm like, okay, here we go. So let me get this in. Then we got to get to tech basketball. Okay, here we go. I'm having to read it, everybody. It says, this episode of Risk Raiders has been brought to you by Brent. Here they are. You know this guy. Flannel flapper, pajama pants, and boxers. That's right. Flannel flapper, pajama pants, and boxers. They're from our good friends.
The trapdoor ones?
Yeah, Freddie Wang and his sons out of St. Lucia, Texas. I'm telling you, they're the best people on the planet. And as you know, Freddie Wang and his sons, they are loyal listeners, Brent, to Risk Raiders. And like last Christmas episode, when they tuned into the holiday episode, they heard us talking about the pajama malfunctions and the problems that this is happening to the world. And just like a true innovator that Freddie is and his sons, he didn't just shake his head, he went to work. He's an entrepreneur. Freddie Wang and Sons. And the result is a revolutionary, now this is his words, flannel flapper, pajama pants, and boxers that are proudly designed to keep you secure through Christmas dinner, New Year's Eve's parties, and yes, even Valentine's Day. Crafted from luxurious cotton silk blend perfected by Freddie himself, these pants feature the latest Stay Shut flapper technology. Closed when you want it and open when you really want it.
When you need it.
When you need it. So order your flannel flappers today, and remember what Freddie says, when it comes to flappers, you always want a wang behind them. I love this guy. Oh, there's a disclaimer too. Use only as directed. Do not operate power tools, attend board meetings, climb ladders, or engage in trampoline activity while wearing flannel flapper pajama pants. Flapping should occur only in well-vented, low-wind environments. Is not recommended during family photos or serious conversations. Side effects may include sudden confidence, unsolicited compliments, emotional confusion, unwanted attention, and unpredictable flapping. Freddie Wang and Sons are not responsible for mistimed openings, social consequences, or any long-term attachment to your favorite pair of pajama pants. That's it, everybody. Damn. Flannel flappers, pajama pants, and boxers, our first sponsor.
Let me tell
Freddie
you something
Wang.
About when I first got married to my wife, my father-in-law had a deer lease up in Colorado, and so I'd never really hunted in super cold weather because I'm from Houston, and so we don't even have a coat, right?
No.
And so we were going up to Colorado to hunt. Well, first couple of years, I was like, damn, it's cold up here. And I had to go buy like long underwear and stuff that I'd never owned. I did own some when I was at Tech, but I just had regular flannel underwear, right? Well, when you go hunting, you're out hunting all day. And you may find yourself while you're hunting, you're sitting in the blind or you're sitting there glassing the side of a hill looking for, you're hunting. And all of a sudden you're like, ooh, I got to kick a moose. And then you realize I got a lot of clothes on and I don't have a lot of time here. And that's when you realize why they sell long underwear with a trap door in the back of them. It's like an epiphany that comes to you.
I know. And that's why when Freddie Wang and I were talking about it, I think he kind of pitched that idea at first. The only problem that he had when he was creating the flannel flapper, from what I understand, at first they tried it with Velcro. The youngest son, after a couple of days, came back with a peculiar look on his face and some substantial scarring. So therefore, they switched that out. No Velcro in the flannel flapper. It's amazing with flannel flapper technology.
Scratchy.
Oh my God! And if Freddie's listening out there, we could use some of those. I don't know, those sort of long john underwear. Bring them back, Freddie. We need them.
Trap door.
The trap door, and I bet that it could be for unisex, of course. We'll leave it at that. First sponsor.
I don't know about that, but okay. Yeah. So that's good. That's very good. I like it. You're right. You didn't tell me how that was going to go. I like it.
We just signed the deal this morning. I'm sorry. You've been out working.
All right. How about our Red Raiders basketball team? I have to tell you, I did not go to the U of H game last week because it was sold out before I could get a ticket. And man, what a game that was! A barn burner.
Crazy. It was one of those games. I kind of liked it. What Kevin Sampson said or something. What do you say? I mean, just two great teams going at it. Somebody's going to win. Good teams make good teams mess up, do better. I think it was just like two head-on collisions, and U of H pulled it out at the end. But I'm going to tell you, I feel good about my Red Raiders this year. I like this team. I like this team. Really like Coach McCaslin. I mean, the guy coaches 24 hours a day on that court. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, he
gets wound up.
He does, and it kind of makes me nervous. I mean, I kind of get a little upset. Like, I'm a little stirred up for him.
It gets me wound up.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm stressing out. But then again, I'm kind of liking it because I'm like, go get him. Kids seem to respond to him very well.
Yeah, it's all good. And, so...
and what about the women's basketball? They're going to have this.
Man, let me tell you something. They're doing fantastic.
Yeah, and they brought in this girl. I don't know if she's playing this year or next year.
She's the tallest basketball player in the country.
7 feet tall. I mean,
that's amazing.
I can't imagine it. She was
and by the way, I don't know if you saw. I'm sure you did. They took out an ad in Times Square. We have a new quarterback for next year that we outbid everyone else for, which I love that. And they're like, oh, our quarterback wasn't that good this year. Let's go get another one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll just
reload.
Does anybody want to come play? Yeah, I think they did.
They were like, yeah.
Hey, look, I didn't change the rules. I didn't make the rules. But if this is how they're going to play, I'm so glad we got people on our side who want to play this game, man.
That's the way it's going to be.
It's the way it's going to be. Love it. Leave it. Go to town. I love it. All right, buddy.
I think we're time.
Man. Look at that. We went overtime today. We should get, God dang. Freddie's going to want some extra money out of this. All right, everybody. We appreciate you watching this episode of Risk Raiders. Remember to share it, subscribe. Please subscribe. Watch for the shorts. We'll actually be out next week with another episode. We'll see you next week.
Next Friday. Take care, my friends. Have a great weekend.